Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. My name is Connor McDonough. I'm a product manager with the UK Ready team, and today I wanted to walk through some changes that are coming to the New Look employee profile. So the original New Look was released back in June of 2020, and we will be introducing some changes to it in the February release of 2021 that we wanted to make sure we talk through with all of you folks. Just to provide a little bit of background on what was done in preparation for these changes. Since June, there was feedback we received, and a lot of effort has been put in from the product and UX side to really listen to all of your feedback and try and address as many of these concerns as we can. So we did have over 100 customer participants as part of this process. This included customer interviews, included customer UX studies, as well as a customer survey. And then, of course, in addition to that, there's the feedback that comes in through the community that we've done a thorough review of and made sure to include in our new designs as well. So excited to show you this new profile for the new look, and let's jump in. So let me go over here to employee information. So I'm going to kind of travel from left to right as far as the profile goes. I think immediately you'll probably notice some pretty clear changes as compared to the pre-February release New Look profile, mainly the additional columns that are now present. The previous version, you had the jump to links here, and then you had just one column of widgets here. So now in this view, you can see 4 columns. So let me first go into the jump to links. So when it came to the jump to links, this was actually an area that through our research, our interviews, we found that we got a really mixed bag of feedback here. So it was really 50-50, where some users really liked this new feature and some users didn't really find it necessary and thought it was taking up unneeded space. So because it was 50-50, we did go with the approach to actually allow you to decide. So as you can see right now, I have this jump to panel exposed. It still has that same functionality where I can select a widget title from the left side, and it will anchor me down to the widget as well as open the widget up. So that's existing, but you'll also see this icon here. So what this is going to do, it's going to allow me to collapse this. So if you are in the category of preferring not to use the jump to links, you like to just navigate via the widget area here in the center, you can collapse that jump to section. There is this little sliver here just in case you ever want to open it back up. You can do so, but this really gives you that personalized touch where you can decide, okay, I want the jump to links or I don't want the jump to links. Another note about this is what we call sticky. So right now I've collapsed this panel. If I log out of the system and return to this profile, it will remain collapsed. So you're not going to have to collapse it or open it each time you return to the system. If you have a preference, your preference will be saved, and it will be there when you come back in. So in addition to allowing that collapse, we do have a third option that wasn't previously available, which is accessed here. So you can see this anchor icon. When I select that, it actually opens the jump to link section as an overlay that can be opened and closed. Here, this has the same functionality of being able to select the widget name. It navigates you down to the widget. It opens the widget. So for example, I select checklist. Now it's anchored me down to the checklist widget and open that up. So this is a third option where maybe you do want to conserve that space. The widgets do grow in width if you collapse this. Maybe you want to conserve that space, but you do actually like the jump to feature. So you can still utilize that via this option here. So let me expand that back out. So last note about the jump to links section, you will notice this new option here, expand all. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. What this does is it actually opens and expands all of the widgets that are currently available on the tab that you are. In addition to that, you can collapse all. So now I've collapsed them all and I can see my large batch of widgets here. This is also new. You couldn't previously expand and collapse widgets in the new look profile. So that's something we added, as well as this feature to expand and collapse all if that's something you wanted to do. So we are happy to report that via our customer survey, we did find that 77% of respondents had a favorable impression of this new jump to section here. And if we include the folks who had a neutral impression, we actually jump up to 95%. So we only had 5% that thought maybe it was a step back or still difficult to use. So 95% being favorable or neutral is something that we're definitely happy to report. So now I'm going to go over to the widget area. So this is really the area that, I think everyone does almost all of their work when it comes to the employee profile. So naturally, this is where we got the most amount of feedback. Again, in the new look profile, there's just currently one column of widgets that are stacked on top of each other. So you'll immediately see now I have two columns of widgets. I do also want to note that the amount of columns of widgets you have is actually dependent on your screen size. So my screen size allows me to just have two columns, but if I resemble a bigger screen size, so I'll just shrink my screen down here a minute. So now you'll see if I do have a bigger breakpoint on my screen size, I actually get three columns of widgets. So this does respond based off your monitor size. The breakpoints and how many columns are available per breakpoint, that will be noted in the release notes. So if you are curious whether your computer will have two columns or three columns, feel free to check there. So let me just expand this out again to my normal screen size. Okay, so when it came to the widget section, the biggest problem we wanted to address was that users no longer had the ability to view as much data as possible within a single view. So there was too many clicks, too much scrolling. There was a lot of extra space that was being taken up that really took away from how much data you could see at once. So that was really the driving point on, okay, let's go back to the classic experience where you do have multiple columns of widgets. So as you can see, if you just expand one widget within a two column, that widget will take a larger amount of space here. You can see more data, or if you have two widgets that are dependent on each other, maybe you want to look at the dates widget, and something that you're setting in there is actually going to determine what you set in the account information widget. You can expand both, and now you can see them both at the same time. Again, you do have control over what order your widgets appear in. You can organize them as you wish, still with the edit tabs. I do want to show one thing in the edit tabs just about how these widgets are organized as your screen size grows to two columns or three columns. So when you go to edit tabs, you will still see the single column lists of the widgets. So our recommendation for best practice is organize these widgets, this list of the blue items here, in the order that you see as the priority, that you're using the most. Because what's going to happen is, as your screen size grows to two columns, account information will be the first widget at the top on the left side, And the dates widget will be the first widget at the top on the right side, and so on down the list. Personal information, first widget at the top on the left side. Pay information, first widget at the top on the right side. So that's how the layout is recognizing your screen size and organizing your widgets based off the priority that they are set here. So wanted to note that. Let's head back into the profile. So this new layout, we are again happy to report that 70% of respondents responded favorably to this new multi-column layout. And when we factor in the neutral responses as well, we had 80% of users were happy to see this new layout. So certainly another improvement. Again, with the widget area, do want to jump into one of the other business problems that we identified, which is the ability to customize the table widget. So in the classic UI profile, there were 7 widgets that were actually reports. So you could customize what columns appeared. You could save views, things of that nature. So one thing that we've done here is we've actually started to reintroduce those reports. So one that you'll see, employee documents, you'll notice that this widget here is now a report. You can see you can filter the columns, you can add and remove columns, manage views, save views. All of the reporting framework capabilities that exist are available for employee documents. In addition to that, we also have introduced the report widget to the job change history widget. That was another one that previously was a report. So again, you can save your views, you can edit your columns, you can apply filters, whatever you can do in the typical report, you can now do for this widget. We are reviewing the remaining 5 widgets that were reports in the old view to validate whether we do need to change those to reports in the new look. So updates on that will be coming. The final bit of feedback we got when it came to this widget area was just that it was difficult to locate widgets. So because the widgets were stacked on each other, it required a lot of scrolling to find the different widgets. There was a lot of space in between each widgets, which again impacted the amount of scrolling that was needed there. So we have done a couple of things. So first of all, the feature I had previously showed, the expand and collapse all, that's in the jump to links. You can utilize that. If you do collapse all, then you can easily see your full list of widgets on a given tab and its name, and hopefully that can help you navigate to that widget. The other option is the employee profile search. So this was actually introduced in the December release, and it does remain for this release. So this does allow you to search for widget names. I want to find the leave of absence widget. Go ahead and start typing that in. I get that result and I select it. And now it opens up that leave of absence widget for me. This search also does go across tabs. So right now I'm on the main tab, but if I were to search cost centers, you can see that I'm getting results for the schedules tab for schedule cost centers, manage cost centers, etc. So if I were to click on this, it would send me to the schedules tab and anchor me down to the widget that I select. So that is happening across tabs, and it does just search on widget name at this time. So again, just to go back to the research session, we did have 83% of respondents were favorable to these improvements we made to locate the widgets, and 91% when you include the neutral outlooks. So let me keep going over to the profiles widget. So when it came to the profiles widget, there were 3 main bits of feedback that we got on the profiles widget. First, it was difficult to locate. The reason for this is because in the current new look profile, it is a title with some text and then just a link that says manage profiles. And you actually have to select that link to open up a dialog and then see all of these profiles fields. So the widget itself is kind of small. It doesn't really stick out. And then in addition to being difficult to find, it also requires that extra click of selecting manage profiles when previously the profiles widget was available right here on the page in the classic UI. And then finally, I think one thing that users stressed to us was a lot of times when you're working in the employee profile, you may be setting a profile for a user based off of the data you see in account information or pay information or managers, because maybe somebody's cost center depends on who their manager is. And seeing that data together at the same time is really helpful, as opposed to kind of clicking around to the different places to seeing it. So as you can see, profiles widget is now exposed. It's not within the dialog that it is currently in the new look. It is this panel here. It has that same interaction as the jump to links where you can expand and collapse it. So if you're not using the profiles widget one day, feel free to collapse and you'll gain some more space within your widgets here in the center section, as well as it has this feature as well that jump to links has, where you can pop it out as an overlay to your profile and either view your profiles that are set or set a profile that is available as well. So it is that third option. And then additionally, there is this. So the profiles widget is separated into different sections: the simple profiles, attestation, benefits, counter distribution, etc. And one thing we heard was these sections weren't all needed for every user. So you might technically have access to view counter distribution, but it's really not a profile that you ever work with. So now you can collapse that section within the profiles widget, and maybe simple profiles is all you really work with. So you can have that expanded while collapsing the others, or really whichever way you prefer to have it. And again, this is also sticky. So if you have collapsed the profiles widget and want it to remain collapsed, when you log out and return, it will still be collapsed. Or if you expand and you log out and return, it will be expanded when you return. So your workspace will be the same when you return as you have left it. This sticky approach does apply to the widgets as well. If you were to expand some widgets and collapse others when you return, the same widgets will be expanded and collapsed. So we did get good feedback on this as part of the user research. 72% of folks reacted favorably, and when we included the neutral outlook folks, 87% were either favorable or neutral. So some good feedback there. One last point about the profiles widget. So previously, the profiles widget would be found in this list here on your edit tabs or your configuration page. It's no longer in here. As you can see up here, we have this checkbox that says Show Profiles Panel. This is how you decide whether the Profiles widget will appear or not appear on a tab. So if you see here on my Payroll tab, I do not have the Profiles widget selected. So let me just go to that tab. And now when I go here, you can see there's nothing over here on the right side, not even the little sliver that would be there if I wanted to expand it. So you can hide the profiles widget completely from a tab if you'd like, as you currently can, but it is a little different where you select that checkbox instead of drag the blue pill over into the area. Addition to that, your current configuration today. So if you have the profiles widget on a tab, that will be enabled when this is released as part of the February release. The checkbox will automatically be selected for any tab that the profiles widget is currently enabled on. So no worries there, no need to reconfigure or anything like that. So that's it. Oh, one last note. Did want to note the change to the new look toggle up here. We have changed that a bit just so it gets called out a little bit more to our users. So if you click that, it still toggles back to the classic UI look. And then the text changed, try the new look. I can go ahead and toggle back to the new look. So with that, that is it. Definitely wanted to thank everyone that contributed to the feedback sessions that we've had, whether it was the advisory boards or the UX studies or the customer surveys or just posting to community. It was all very helpful. We hope that this new design will give you the flexibility you need to really use the employee profile in the ways that you want. And that we'll be able to move forward with this new design. So thanks everyone and have a great day.